Okay, I'm redoing this. I just hit the wrong button. Anyway, I'm going to show you some of the hardware setup that we have here to hold the tomatoes up. These are just cheap ratchet straps, and that's stainless steel cable. You can use galvanized. I just happen to have stainless, and it goes through the T-post there. Those T-posts are 2 feet in the ground, and what I do is I put a, let me look around this side. I clamp the steel right behind that cable that goes through the top of the T-post, and that keeps the T-post from sliding in, and it puts tension on that cable. So it's the same thing on both ends. And the cable lays on top of the cross bracing of the greenhouse, and you can see the cable's dipping just a little bit as the tomato plants are starting to weigh in a little bit more. It will sag a little bit more, but not too much. And because this greenhouse is not perfectly friendly for doing tomatoes, it's more for driving a tractor in here that's got a roll cage on it. We did these little extension wires that go onto the tomato hooks, and that way we can reach it without having to use a step stool or whatever. And that kind of, hopefully that answers a couple questions. That first row over there, we just use that tube purlin as a place to hang from, and we just did some zip ties on the tube and hung the hooks on that, so that was already in place. The last week or so, and the week that's coming up, it's been a little bit cool as far as South Carolina weather goes. It's going to be about 80, 81 degrees all week. And so what that's doing is it's raising the humidity levels in here. And if you'll notice, those side curtains of the greenhouse, we let them down to actually slow down some of the airflow in here, but increasing the greenhouse effect, raising the temperature. And by raising the temperature, the humidity level drops in the percentage, by the percentage points. And what that does is it keeps down any of the mildews or fungus or whatever pathogens that like the humidity, the cool and high humidity, to grow. So I didn't bring my humidistat with me today, but I can feel in here it's a bit drier, and that's okay. But we still keep up with the watering. And today we're going to do a little bit of pruning, and then we're going to start putting soil on top of the horizontal parts of the tomato that are on the ground, and that will put out some new roots. And the topsoil is enriched with peat moss, coffee grounds, a bunch of other micronutrients that will help it grow. We'll scoop out some of the wood chips to expose the ground a little bit. But yeah, they're putting a lot of tomato sets on. For the most part, everything looks really healthy. And then you have this. This is a curly top disease. It's transferred by, I forget the name of the insect, and it just infects, just whatever plant that it lands on and tries to feed off of. And it doesn't spread to other plants, but you have this. So if you ever see empty spots in here, that's what we're doing. We pull out those plants. And we have starts every time you prune a tomato plant. Like, see that sucker right there that comes out of that crotch? That's a new tomato plant. If you cut it there, set it into some water with some oxygen in it, You could just do regular water, put a bubbler in it, or change the water every couple of days. Like here's a transplant. We had a curly top in here, and we start these from cuttings. We try to keep an inventory of cuttings so we can occupy the real estate as it becomes available. And there's Bernie. He's chasing grasshoppers or butterflies or whatever. And also by rolling the curtains down on the side, it might take some of the sun intensity off of the basil and let it grow. The Genovese basil, which is the green, that's the one we're going to focus on harvesting, where the purple basil, we're going to let it go to flower to attract beneficial insects like wasps and pollinators. And that's kind of it. We're just going to run through these today. Just check out everything, make sure everything is doing okay. We prune up the bottom leaves as much as we can to get them off the ground, and it keeps the slugs from chewing on the leaves if there is any. And here's our dill. It's coming along nicely, and that's kind of it for now. Hopefully in just I don't know, a couple, 3 weeks, we'll be eating tomato sandwiches. And they're growing. They're growing. Some of these plants are over 4 feet long, even though they're not that far vertical out of the ground. With the stem laying sideways and coming up, we're hitting that length. So by the time they get up here, we'll unhook this, loosen some of the string, lay the stalk down a little bit more, and give the plant more room to grow. Anyway, so far so good. We'll deal. Thank you for peeing on the basil, Bernie. Anybody want that basil? Anyway, it's all good so far. Okay, have a nice day. Appreciate it.